Welcome to the MWA podcast, the space where we celebrate the incredible Muslim women who are shaping our communities, breaking barriers, and making history. I'm Saada Mahmood, your host, and joining me today is somebody who is making waves through the horse riding world. Kahdijah Mellah has made history by becoming the first British Muslim woman to win a race at Goodwood. She is also one of our very own 2024 Women in Sports winner. Thank you so much, Kahdijah, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I wish I could make your introduction a lot longer, but to be honest, I don't think we could capture it all. You have so much that you've done, Kahdijah.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like I need to be doing more.
More?
Yeah.
Well, let's start with how was your travel here? Because to be honest, I thought you was like still in London, but you're not now, aren't you?
I wish I was still in London, but unfortunately the horses don't, the jockey world isn't in London. So I had to move out and live away from home to fit in my train. I mean, I travelled from Lambourne this morning. I rode 4 horses and then took a train down here.
Babes, can we stop for a minute? What do you mean? I thought I accomplished so much this morning. I was like, okay, I did a bit of food shopping for the kids. Khalas. Do you know what I mean? A win is a win. You did horse riding already this morning. You rode what, 4 horses?
Yeah, so every day, 6 days a week, I have to exercise the race horses at the yard. 2 of the horses I rode this morning were 3-year-olds and the other 2 were babies. They were 2-year-olds.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's amazing. So every day you've got to do that. So where you live now, are you living at the stables? I know it's going to sound weird, but I'm trying to visualize it. Are you living at the stables? Are you living like
Nearby. So different racing stables have different sort of accommodation setups. The racing stable that I work with, they don't have accommodation on site. So I'm living with another member of the racing community.
nice?
But yeah, basically the structure is normally jockeys and work riders and people that ride racehorses live close to the yard and the horses because you're up at 5:45 in the morning, 6 o'clock, getting, on 4 to 5, maybe 6 horses a day.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's very like.
And that
get
really
on
is
and go.
exercise because your physique, Allahumma barak. When we were at the awards, you stood up and everyone just went, we all need to start riding horses. Get out of the gym, get a horse.
I mean, we're always trying to keep it modest, but also the gym game. It's also I think people assume that riding a horse isn't as physically demanding, but there's a lot of work that I'm putting in.
It is a lot of core strength as well, right? Because even the way you have to do it, like, yeah.
It's everything, because I'm actually not doing too much moving. The whole point of a jockey is to stay still and out of the way of the horse and encourage the horse. So you're sort of in a squat position,
Okay.
like above the horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't even put your full weight on it. You're trying to act like I'm not here.
I'm not
Fly.
here, baby, I'm not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. So where'd you grow up, Kahdijah?
So I was born and raised in South London, King's College Hospital. I was raised by my mum and my dad. They came to this country about 35 years ago. But yeah, Peckham girl, born and bred.
Oh. And mum and dad came here, would you say 30 years ago?
Yeah. So my mum immigrated here from Kenya and my dad came from Algeria.
Oh, did they come together or they met here?
They met in Brixton.
We're saying just a melting pot of all cultures and countries. I love that. And then here you come along. To be honest, we were trying to claim you as Somalis love to do.
You know what? I'll take it because Somali girls are so beautiful, mashallah.
You're too sweet.
But yeah, like everyone on social media and, I see comments all the time like, big up the Somalis. I'm like,
I thought you were
I
either
love
Somali or
that.
Sudanese.
No, it's the most random mix. I feel like I haven't met any Kenyan Algerians.
Never have I. Such a random
out
mix.
here.
Yes, we are. You are representing them all on your horse. So what high school did you go to?
So I went to a primary school in Lewisham, and then I got really good grades, worked hard, and passed like an entrance exam to go to a private school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So everyone's always like, oh, how does it feel to be the only Muslim in the room, the only hijabi? Da-da-da. I'm like, that's literally been my entire upbringing, because when I was in, I went to Sydenham High School, so it was like this really small private school in Sydenham, near like Dulwich, like I want to like Penge, that kind of, yeah. And yeah, so I went to school there, and it was, I'd say the first 6 years were really good. I got a lot of academic support, but then towards like the end, like sixth form, it was a little bit too intense, and like in terms of my identity as a Muslim woman, it was getting really challenging to fit in.
Okay.
What were some of your challenges? Just being a black woman in a private school, the class divide. There's so much going on at school that I didn't realize until I sort of left, and I was like, we were going through it.
Do you know, it's funny you say that. When you were in it, do you feel like you didn't feel it that much? It's only when you left and you were looking back in, you were like, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time, I was like, we're just cruising. You know, this is normal. This is so normal. And then I went and spoke to new people, made new friends, and I was like, that was not normal. But I didn't have anything to sort of compare it to. So
very true.
Yeah.
Did you like your high school life?
I'd say I loved the sports. The reason I got into the private school was because I did academically well, but also I had a sports scholarship because I did karate, swimming, rugby, rounders. I did basically every sport bar tennis. Tennis was the only sport I was like, nah.
Why? Horse riding, tennis, I don't know, rich people sports.
No.
Private school.
No, it was the only sport. I did rowing and fencing for a minute.
I was just about to say that. You look like you did fencing.
Yeah, I did fencing. I was the only person in my school to qualify. I didn't win, but I just qualified to the next stage of a tournament, and everyone else did. I was like,
Babes, I think, what do you think it is? Because Allah Mubarak is not just the sports side of you, is it?
I feel
academically,
the Arabian genetics for the
it's
fencing.
the African as well, right? Like
that,
because I want to know how you stayed on. How did your mom stay on top of you? Because for you to be number one, being accepted to a private school, number two, excelling in that school, and not just in academically, also through sports. Like, what drives you?
I'm very competitive. Just like since I was me and my brother, me and my dad always trying to outdo each other in some way, shape, or form. My dad's a very ambitious man. I mean, both my parents are. Like, to come to this country with nothing, the struggle, and try and thrive and build generational wealth, build a life just point blank. Yeah, is you have to be very like ambitious, and my parents have really worked hard to instill that ambition in me, and they always told me to take opportunities, work hard, and obviously trust in Allah.
That's amazing. We had the pleasure of meeting your mum at
the
awards.
Did.
Yeah, you like split an image of her.
Do I?
Yeah, I feel
People
like you do look
your
mum. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
No, she must have been so proud of you. How was it at the awards?
Oh, we had such a good time. Because remember, I feel like until you're celebrated, I've said this, I said it on stage, until you're celebrated by your own people and your own community, it feels like there's something missing. And the biggest compliments and they impact you the most when it's from your close circle. And I feel like my dad struggled initially to accept or celebrate my achievements because he was so anxious that the Muslim community wouldn't be supportive of me.
Wow.
Yeah. So to be invited to a Muslim event, a Muslim women's event, it was so nice. And as I said to you, like, a lot of the spaces I'm in, it's just white people or like people that aren't Muslim, or I always feel like I am the only person in the room of my background, of my religious faith. And I feel like being at the award ceremony, I was like, it's just me and my girls. Like, I don't know. It's so
that's
nice.
amazing. How does your dad feel about it now? Because that is interesting, the way he felt like you wouldn't be accepted. Because these are a lot of the challenges we face, especially as Muslim women, that when we are breaking barriers, is even with our own community, sometimes we're really scrutinized. So how does your dad feel about it now that his daughter's getting awards from her own community? How's he feeling?
I think, that would... I don't want to speak for him because my dad's sometimes a hard man to read, but I'd hope that he would see this as a huge celebration. It's one of my biggest achievements, I think.
That's incredible.
Genuinely. And yeah, inshallah, like, I just hope that it has reinforced that, some safety around, because as I said to you, growing up, my dad was just like, work hard, keep your head down, don't cause any trouble, don't cause a scene, and make money, but also stay in touch with your faith and your deen. So that's his main goals. Like, make sure you focus on your deen, work hard,
and don't make
study.
waves.
Yeah, don't do too much.
Yeah.
Like, don't cause a scene.
And then comes you.
Yeah. So me and my dad always had a little bit of tension growing up, because I'm a big personality. I like causing a scene, like, and I think, it took him a while to adjust, to me being in the public eye. He still isn't keen on me having social media and stuff. But
it's all out of protection, though, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah, it's just all out of protection, because you hurt, he feels it. Do you know? And that's what it is. But I don't know, I'm not your dad, but I can tell he's so proud of you. Because sometimes our kids become what we couldn't. Do you know? Even the whole don't rock the boat, just work hard, put your head down and whatnot. But he must admire you so much, because we all do. And just talking about your background, like, yeah, mashallah.
I think me and my dad actually have very similar qualities. And I think it's only now that I've grown up a little bit more and I've realised, like, he's very strong-willed and sometimes a little bit stubborn, and so am I. Like, if I want to get something done, I'm going to get it done. And so is he. Like, he's very fixated on working towards and achieving his goals. And, like, my parents have really been a source of, like, guidance and inspiration for who I am today.
That's amazing. Sure. We definitely saw your mum was, because even when I went up to her and I was like, Mum, like, horse riding, how? Who took her? Who introduced her to us? And she said, me. She said, I did this.
I claim it.
This is my work.
Yeah. That's
so was it your mum that introduced you?
So yeah, basically I've always been obsessed with animals, and obviously because I love sport, horse riding was like the most obvious, like, balance of the two worlds. I was like, if I could learn to ride a horse, that's like the biggest goal for me right now, my biggest achievement. Studying is cool, but, like, can I get on a horse? Do you know what I mean? That was
But Kahdijah, like, where did you even get access to the horse?
Listen,
do you know, for you to want it, like, I know, like, as I was saying to you earlier, I was like, my daughter's so into horses, and maybe because I'm into them as well, like, obviously I've been able to take her and stuff, but like, with you growing up in South London, immigrant parents, and I shouldn't sound like this, but where did you see the horse? Where were we like, hey, I want to go horse riding? Where was the horse?
Good question, because there was genuinely no horses for miles. Funny story though, there was like a little gypsy community that had a couple horses. I was like, I'm trying to get like them, and then my parents were like, no, let's take you out to the. So they once a month, my parents would take me to the countryside if I'd done well, like as a treat, and then we'd sit on a horse, and like you'd pay to be led around, and it was just like, it wasn't riding, but to me it was like,
it was a star.
To me it was like, this is the best thing in the world. But I always was so hungry for more, so I was like searching up I could name drop every riding center in like the M25.
No way.
Yeah, I looked at Gumtree and like Pre-Love. These are like these websites that.
And what age was this?
I was like 11. I was crazy. My parents were like, could you not kick a football or something? Like,
that's what I'm thinking. Like, you went for something that was not just hard to find, something that was also expensive.
I know.
Do you know? Let's not get it twisted.
My dad was sweating, like, and also because I wanted to do it, and I'm like one of the oldest of my immediate siblings.
And your immediate siblings, how many of you are there?
I've got a younger brother, younger sister, and an older half brother.
Okay, nice.
But my younger siblings were like, oh, she's doing it, I want to do it. And then my dad was like, ×3? riding lessons ×3? He was like,
I cannot.
This is crazy.
Did he have to though?
Yeah.
Did everyone do that? Look at you, just starting nonsense in the house with your ambition.
Yeah, that was me. But yeah, alhamdulillah, where there's a will, there's a way. Allah opened the door, and you know, my mum was walking through Brixton, saw a leaflet. I think it was in the mosque or on like a window. I can't remember where, but she saw a leaflet about a riding centre or a riding club in Brixton. And I literally say this all the time. It's called Ebony Horse Club. I thought it was a theatre group, because I was like, there's no way that there's horses in Brixton. Next to, like, it's literally a 10-minute journey from Peckham to Brixton. There's no way. Like, I was so I was just in disbelief. And then I went like to visit the stables, and I found this riding center with actual horses, and I was like, this is
In
insane.
Brixton.
In Brixton. That's already a miracle in itself.
Yeah, that's amazing. And as you said, man, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Because it's like a knock-on effect. If I didn't learn to ride properly at Ebony, I would have never been offered to ride in a race. If I didn't get offered to ride in a race, I wouldn't have gone on to win. And it was like this butterfly effect or domino effect where if one thing was missing, I would not be here, or this story wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have even gone into racing, to be completely honest.
So how was it at Ebony's? So you found this horse riding place in the middle of Brixton, and then what happened?
So yeah, I applied to be a member because it's a charity. It's a youth club charity.
Wow.
So it's like it's like giving opportunities to the local community to do something, like to engage with the youth basically, and be a youth club centre with the added element of therapy through horses and riding lessons. So it was very based around Brixton, South London, deprived communities, ethnic minorities, making sure that we're supported. The woman that created this project is incredible. Her name is Roz Spearing.
Wow.
And there was such a huge demand.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I was on the waiting list for 2 years.
Stop.
Yeah. The waiting list is still 2 years, I think.
Stop. And it's still there?
Still there, 100%.
Oh, wow.
Visit all the time. My sister rides there. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, shout out to Ebony
Yeah.
Horse Club.
Yeah.
Wow. Making dreams come true. So 2 years you waited, and then you had access to the space. But it wasn't that whole thing of them just leading you, was it?
No. So they let us volunteer. So we learnt to groom the horses, like all the care and well-being around the horses as well as riding. So you get a lesson once a week. So that's already, you're able to build on what you learnt last week instead of just having this one lesson every 2 months. And you can make progress and like speak to your instructor. There was a development element of your riding ability, and they would, do flat work, so that's dressage, and then you do some jump lessons. So they always switch it up. So you're learning. It's very dynamic. And of course you'd be mucking out, learning about all the different, like what the farrier does, the vets do. So it was like a very huge insight into.
Rewind, what the who does? The vet, the person before that?
The farrier is like the shoeing and the hooves.
Oh, okay. The guy that cuts the nails and put the hooves on. Okay. Did you learn how to do all those different things?
So I didn't learn to be a farrier, but I could see the farrier and what he was doing, ask questions and learn why certain things are important. They give us opportunities to go to shows. So you'd travel the horses in the boxes and go to these riding shows. It was the funniest thing though, because you had like all these countryside posh people and they're like pretty ponies. And then Ebony Horse Club would rock up and it'd be like, Tush!
Southside.
Yeah.
I love that.
But we always came correct, like suit, blazer on.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah,
so you guys were really exposed to all the different sides of the horse riding. That's incredible.
Very lucky.
Oh, I need to find me an Ebony one around my area.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we need to get.
We do.
It's been on my mind, and they're trying to create like a second version of Ebony in Southwark. So it's like this can be replicated in different areas, and it needs to be replicated.
It definitely does. It definitely does. But you don't only. So if we go back to your schooling, you did your sixth form and everything. Because I found out you've got your degree in engineering. What type of engineering?
Mechanical.
Who are you?
Well,
how do we go from mechanical engineering to jockey? And that's what I'm saying. They can't box you, Kahdijah. So how did we get there?
A good question. So obviously, like the riding element was just supposed to be a hobby, and then I got offered to race in that race at Goodwood, and it was just before I went to university because I was sitting my A-levels. So there was a lot of like drama with my family around like, you need to focus on your studies. And then I was like, yeah, but I'm training for this race. And they were like, listen, the horses can wait until you're rich and successful. You can have your little ponies. You can ride whenever you like. Focus on your studies. And I was like, I could do both. So I tried to do both. My academic like results suffered a little bit, but I still managed to get the grades I needed to go to university and study mechanical engineering. And like my parents, like I'm reckless when it comes to like, the horses and like that side of life, but I understand my responsibility as a child of an immigrant. Like, you can't mess around too much. And the horses, yeah, it's fun and games, but at the end of the day, I need something more stable. Forgive the puns.
Babe,
But
you're so mature. Mashallah.
yeah, I was like, I need to. And it was always been my ambition like through school I loved physics. I liked cars. I like motorsports.
Okay, because I was going to ask how mechanical engineer, but here you are. Yeah.
So yeah, that was always part of my journey anyway, whether I was riding the racehorses or not. It was like on my bucket list. I want to get an engineering degree. I worked so hard up until A-levels. I needed to basically fulfill that before doing any extra side quests.
Yes. I mean, so did you hold up your certificate and your hat?
Thank
And
you.
you said,
Yeah.
here you are. Now I want to ride my horses.
Yeah.
Give my horse.
Thank you. Yeah. I was like, I've got this behind me as like proof and security that I am like intelligent, and, you know, I can be as, I want to say, when I walk into spaces and racing, I want people to know that I have more to offer than just obviously my riding ability, and like, I can be taken seriously. I have a pretty intense degree behind me.
Thanks.
I'm an intelligent young woman.
Yes,
Don't
you
play with
are,
me, don't play
babes.
with me.
Yes, you are. I love them about it. Yes, you are.
Thank you.
All right, tell us about you winning. That's your first win, right? At Goodwood.
Yeah, it's my only race to date.
Okay.
I'm back racing, inshallah, again in May. But it's been, it was insane because I was never meant to win. The horse I was riding, he was retired. He came out of retirement to race.
No.
Yeah. He didn't do very well in his racing career, bless him. He pulled his finger out, I think, once, and won out of 6 starts, so 6 races. He won 1 race. And it was like a very low level race in like Carlisle.
Okay.
But he was a safe horse. That's the reason I rode him in that race, because I was still very inexperienced, new to racing.
Who gave you the horse?
So the guy that was sort of facilitating my training, a guy called Charlie Fellows.
Okay.
It was his own personal horse in the yard.
Okay.
And I think his mum actually owned it. It was like passed down from his mum to him. And it was just a nice, safe horse that was a good example for the babies. Whenever they had a cohort of 2-year-olds or yearlings, he was like a lead horse as an example of how you should behave. Yeah. He was very safe, very chilled. Racehorses are not very safe sometimes.
I can imagine, yeah.
Chilled.
So this one was very safe and very chilled.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, I'm going to take this one. Were you expecting to win? Did you feel like you had a chance?
So I didn't have much of a say. They were like, we're allocating you with Haviland. And I was like, cool. He's kind of small. He's not that fast. Then I galloped him one morning, which is like when you really push them to go a bit faster. Because my job as a jockey and work rider, every morning you want the horse to chill out. Because when you're running, a marathon, you don't sprint every morning. You're not doing a 50-mile run every day.
Okay.
You have to like interval train the horses. So every morning I'm getting them to just jog, keep building your stamina, don't pull too many muscles, like just chill. But race horses don't know that, and they don't want to chill. They just always want to go flat out. So my job is always trying to hold on to these horses so they don't go too fast. You only get like the opportunity to push a horse and like fully allow them to run as fast as they could or as fast as they can during races, or if you're doing a nice gallop in the morning, which is normally a Tuesday or a Saturday. So I galloped him one morning and he gave me that energy. I was like, oh, so he has some speed. And then they gave him, so I rode him in the race, but literally my instructions were from my trainer, my team. They all said to me, get home safe, cross the line.
That's your only
That's
job.
your job.
Your job's cross the
Get
line.
home safe.
Medal
cross
for
the
taking
finish line.
part.
Literally.
That's
and
it.
me and my brother called me immediately after my manager called me and was like, if you don't try and win, I'm gonna slap you. Like, like I was telling him, I just need to get home safe. And he was like,
what do you mean?
he was like, be for real. And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm not I want to win. Like, I really wanted to win.
Good.
But deep down, I was trying to be realistic. He came out of retirement. He's a small horse. He hasn't really, he's rated 66. The horses in the race were rated 80. Some of them were rated like a lot higher than him. So that's like a ranking of the ability of the horse.
Okay.
And he was sat in the middle of the pack. He should have came fifth at best.
Okay.
But I knew him well enough to position and ask him, because he has like a furlong, which is like a 200 meters, I think, in him of speed.
Okay.
So it's like in horsey terms, it's like turn of foot. So if you ask him to push himself and ride a finish, he has about a furlong in him before he gets tired. So I knew
a furlong is 200 meters.
I don't want to get
Around.
it wrong,
Okay.
But yeah, he only had a certain level of stamina, and I asked him to push at the right time. So when he got to the finish line, he got in front enough of and he
strategic.
But he's such a good boy, man.
But that's amazing how both of you, not just the horse, you and the horse, like both of you were just expected just to get by. Do you know? Like, oh, you guys, it's an A+ just for taking part. You guys got this far, but you guys smashed it. And then now he can really retire. Have you retired him now? Have they retired him?
Yeah, so that's him. That's him, guys.
Mashallah, look at him. Winner. Retire who? Good. He came out just for you.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Honestly, I also do believe Allah played a huge part in my story.
Always.
Because I should have died so many times.
Tell me about that, because I wanted to ask. You must have some insane accidents.
Yeah, I mean, I was exaggerating in terms of dying, but also low-key.
No, but you could die, babes, even if you drop him.
Yeah, it's a dangerous sport. And the best analogy is like going from riding like a Nissan Micra or like a decent cheap little Ford to then
boom,
you're in a Formula 1 car. For real, I'm not joking, because these horses are literally just weapons of speed.
Oh, wow.
Like they're bred for just aerodynamic speed. And I was so used to just being on these fat, lazy
facts that just trot.
Yeah, just chilling, like armchairs. And then I'm on this like...
You're in a Ferrari.
Yeah. The handling's different. I didn't understand it. I was very...
What was your worst fall?
I'd say recently was actually probably last summer. I was on a horse, and a girl in front of me had an accident, and I was traveling at speed behind her. She came off her horse, and I crashed into, because she fell off, so crashed into her horse, and there were two horses coming up behind me.
Oh my God.
I just got trampled. Yeah, that was probably the worst accident I've had. It was just very traumatic, because you're tumbling and suddenly I feel hooves. I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah, I think that was the moment where I was like reconsidering my racing journey. I was like, if you're gonna quit now.
Yeah, right. While you're down with hoof prints on you.
I fully had a hoof print on my cheek. I had a bleed in my lung, concussed, couldn't remember my address. Like the paramedics were like, "Where do you live?" I was like,
"Home."
You tell me. Like, I don't know.
Kahdijah, you poor thing.
It's part of the job. I promise you, every jockey I've ever spoken to, their stories are way worse because it's just how,
it's part of the game. Yeah.
And I know it sounds weird to hear, when you're not in racing, but there are going to be accidents and you just have to prepare.
Definitely. It's like being in the kitchen, right? That's just how I see it. If you're going to cook, you're going to get burnt.
Exactly.
Right? If you're going to cook once or twice or however many, you're going to get burnt. And it's part of it. That's what comes with it. Mm-hmm. But ouch. Okay, ouch.
Yeah. My parents were like, khalas. Like,
facts, you're going to die. Sit down.
Have you had your dose of horses now? Are you ready to move on? I was like, no.
But talking about horses and winning and all of that, you got shouted out by the Queen herself, Miss, what is it? Camilla.
Yep, Her Majesty Camilla.
Her Majesty how?
Yeah, so she was actually very involved in Ebony.
Okay.
And then she heard about they made a documentary about my journey in racing.
On ITV?
Yeah. So
babes. Okay, rewind from Camilla then. Her Majesty.
She's still part of the story there.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. But so they created this documentary to track and basically document my journey as I learnt to ride racehorses. It was very intrusive sometimes because obviously I'm still learning and I was having my ups and downs, and they were like, camera douche, like, yeah. And I failed my assessments first time round because I was so underprepared. I was still quite fit because of all the sports I was doing alongside, but I didn't understand the technique riding racehorses. So I lost control all the time, went too fast, got speeding tickets all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I fell off a few times. No injuries, alhamdulillah, when I first started, but I was always having my pride and my ego. I was just humbled.
That's what you needed though,
No.
right?
I was like, listen, it's enough.
And now you got a camera in front of me.
Yeah, it was too much. It was very overwhelming.
But they picked the right girl. How did they pick you?
They needed a girl that was 18 and I was 17 turning 18, and they were like, there was two girls, one that was already 18 and she'd already had some racing experience.
Okay.
And then there was me, and they were like,
We want you.
It would make most sense to have you, but also you're doing your A-levels, so you go away and think about it.
Okay.
And I was like, I still want to try, like, I want to give it a go. And then I failed my assessments, and they were like, so we might have to cancel this. I was like, give me one more chance. And I redid my assessments, and the instructor was actually very scary. He was like, I don't know why you came here. Yeah, like, he was like, you did so bad, I don't know why you came. I was like, ouch. Because turns out, to race in those races, you're supposed to have a year, maybe 2 years of experience.
And
riding.
you had?
I had a good 2 months.
Babe, stop.
Yeah, for real.
You're just built for excellence, aren't you? No.
It was crazy.
What someone was meant to do in a year or two, you did in a couple months.
Yeah, it was.
You're built different,
you know
mashallah.
It is that was my main achievement, to learn to ride a racehorse in such a short space of time.
With cameras on you.
With cameras, whilst fasting, whilst doing Ramadan, whilst also doing my A-levels. Listen.
Built different.
But it meant that when I did win the race, I had this period where I was like, I've only been in the sport for 3 months, 4 months. I don't deserve all this celebration.
How was that for you?
Yeah, I had like crazy imposter
syndrome. Oh, very true. You don't think of that. How was that for you?
Because, I was meeting jockeys and these people that have really worked hard in the sport for years. I'm talking 10 years plus, and didn't have as much sort of traction online or in the press as much as I did, which is obviously because of my background and my community. But it was difficult to navigate because there was still so much for me to learn. My riding ability was still quite, basic level. I was still progressing through like the jockey ranks, if you will. But I was getting invited to sporting awards where, Olympic athletes would be getting awards and nominated. Like, I was just like, I'm so out of my depth here. It felt like I was so underprepared. I was like, this is not what I expected. I don't feel like I'm deserving at all for a very long time. I'd say now that I've got my degree, grown up, worked hard and trained for the last 2 years, I'm willing to take and accept praise.
You're owning it now, aren't you?
But I fully, 4 years ago, was just like, winner of who? Winner of what? Me? Nah.
We said, I'm just winging it.
Yeah.
I just came in to just ride some horses, you know?
That was me. I was like, I just love the horses. I'm just here for the horses.
But do you know what? Now that you're speaking to me, it's like, obviously, qadr Allah, like it was all meant for you. But like, sis, you excel at what you do. You went to school and you were like, okay, excel, I'm going to go to private school. Like, it's just like whatever you get into, it seems like you're going to push yourself in it.
Yeah, if I'm not good at something, it really gets to me. Like, every sport that I've ever participated in, I'm in the A team or I'm not doing it at all. Like,
I'm not in it. If I'm not winning, I don't want to do it. I'm not part of it.
Even now, like, every time I talk about my training, I'm like, so what are the deliverables? Like, when's the race? When's the goal? Like, what are we working towards? What's the next? I'm very like goal driven. If I need to work towards something, otherwise I feel like I haven't got direction.
Do you give yourself a chance to celebrate your accomplishments? Or are you already like, what's next?
Immediately, what's next? Because I feel like, as a woman as well, your time is always ticking. Like, there's always pressure to eventually settle down. So I feel like as a man, you can explore and do shenanigans until you're 35.
Do you have that pressure on you, Kahdijah?
Yes. Yeah, I can only do so much horse girl foolishness.
That's it. Who's putting the pressure on? Community, parents, everybody, yourself?
Myself.
Okay.
Because one thing my family already knows, put pressure on me,
It's
it's
not
never
happening.
gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. So yeah, I mean, my younger sister recently got married. Yeah, she's
Okay, the
5 years.
pressure's on.
Yeah, she's 5 years younger than me. So I was like, yo, that was like a reality check for me. I was like, I cannot build a family with a horse. Like, like you need to eventually.
You're not.
Like eventually, I need to lock in.
No, babes, you can't. No, you cannot.
Facts. Like you eventually, I
Is
need
there
to
other things you want to accomplish before you settle down, or do you feel like, do you know what? I've accomplished what I want. Yes, there's more, but is that something you want now? You want to?
So to me, my like life milestone was getting my university degree, winning a few more amateur races. So now that I've trained for the last 2 years, got my jockey license again, we're about to race my next few amateur races. To me, I'm like, yo, the next stage is coming and I'm underprepared again. But yeah, my most immediate goal right now is obviously just racing. But also, yeah, it's definitely in the back of my mind where I'm like, are you gonna be mature and lock in and start a family eventually? I'm like,
It's coming, inshallah. It'll come when it comes. But talking about that, what challenges do you feel, or obstacles do you feel like you faced or are facing?
I'd say currently, within the industry I'm working in, I feel like, you know, it's I've been in it long enough to understand the nuances and how the sport operates. And I now realize that for the last 4 years, especially when I've been at university but still doing a lot of promotion for the sport and, you know, still training part-time, now that I'm more full-time and I want to make a lot of traction, a lot of progress, you know, I'm approaching the racing community and, you know, bodies within racing with all these ideas and a lot of passion and drive, and I'm met with not the right energy, if you know what I mean. And, you know, I feel like sometimes the sport is very performative where, you know, you have individuals that are willing to celebrate and claim to care about diversity and inclusion, but when it comes to the reality of it, you know, they're very, 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 the word would probably be, I don't know, what would the word be?
Mediocre.
Not even. They're just very, what do you call when someone's just useless?
I think that's the word.
No, I don't want to, yeah, I have to be careful how I phrase things, especially around this topic. But essentially, what do you call it? Lacks motivation, lacks any passion or drive.
Okay.
Just when it comes to execution, there's zero energy.
So they can talk a lot of the talk, but they are not walking the walk.
No.
They're not delivering.
No, and I
I think
like
one thing that was said was over-promising and under-delivering.
yes, absolutely. And the issue that I found is I'm having to convince people of my value. I'm having to convince people that I'm convincing people in the racing industry that what I have to offer is valuable and my time is worthy of income as well. Like I'd say a lot of the work I've been doing in racing has always been pro bono for free. Yeah. They want me to attend events, promote the sport with no
That's
money.
crazy.
There's no budget.
That's crazy because from the outside looking in, and I think that's the same for quite a lot of different platforms and stuff. But from the outside looking in, it seems like you should be raking it in. You're in front of so many different people. You're on different platforms. Different cameras are on you. You would think that they would at least you'd be earning yourself something pretty well to live off of, and you feel like that's not the case.
No, I continuously have to chase and work hard to, you know, even pitch projects and write up proposals, and I'm met with sometimes nothing or just like that sounds great, we'll get back to you, and then I'm hearing nothing. And then when it comes to events coming up in the calendar, it's like, can you attend? Please, can you post and create content for this? Or could you, participate and, promote? And it's just like, actually, I'm starting to finally say no to things, which is crazy to me, because growing up, again, from an immigrant household, you're just supposed to be like, yes, I'll take this opportunity. Yes, I'll do this. Because to me, it's like networking, you never know what each door will open, but also boundaries. And it's the first time I've had to actually establish boundaries and say no to things. And I'm being met with some interesting responses every time I say no. I mean, this is very new to me.
Yeah.
No. But I've been met with some like interesting responses. People are not happy with me saying no.
Good. You're going to make a lot of people upset when you realize your value and what you have now. But I think it's, as you said, the 4 years of you growing is learning, right? And that's why you said yes to everything, because you're learning so much.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, I want to be in these rooms. Yes, I want to go to that event. Yes, I would. Yes. Now I feel like you're like, I've learned. I know what I'm doing now. I feel accomplished in what I'm doing. Now I'm on my next stage, which is yes, but pay me.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Do you know? So I don't think you should be shy from that. I think the only value you're going to bring is the value you bring to yourself. If you value yourself, then everyone's going to fall in line. Are people going to get upset? Of course, because they're used to yeses.
Yeah, that's the issue, because everyone's so, like, I've been so complacent that people see it as slightly like almost disrespectful to not say yes. It's very frustrating, because I'm like, you wouldn't ask anyone to provide a service for free generally. Like, you wouldn't ask a chef to cook you a meal for free. But when it comes to me being, the face for the sport and helping to improve the reputation of the sport and attract new audiences, it's basically a marketing role.
Literally.
A massive marketing role. I feel like I do like 4 part-time roles at once, and I am remunerated for none of these part-time. Genuinely.
Wow.
I like had a sit down and I was like, let's have a look at all of the different, income revenues I should be having right now. Like, it was actually going to events and meeting other girls in different sports and discussing with them the way their sport operates and realizing that something's going wrong. And then I think I definitely had a realization where, because of the class system in racing, and I was from a very working class background, I was seen and I was removed from where I was in a charity and brought to the sport on a charitable level. I was always seen as a charity case.
Babe.
So when it comes to, wait, no, I'm not a charity case. I want to have and remain to have a very huge influential part of the sport, and I want a big role in the sport going forwards. It's like, we were doing you a favor, hun. Like, that's the energy, yeah.
I can
from certain
imagine.
people. But of course, there are certain people in the sport that have been very uplifting and supportive. However, a lot of it is like, you're just a girl, like you're just a baby. Like,
yeah.
You should
want
just be
too
happy
much.
to be here.
Exactly.
You should just be happy to be here, babe. I'm like, whoa. I did not work hard to get an engineering degree to be taken for idiots.
Yes, and to be happy just to be here. I earned here.
I earned.
Do you know? And that's what it is. They try and make you believe that, again, that you're a charity case. No, I've earned it. Did I get my opportunity via charity? Yes.
Yeah.
But I've made my stamp. I've done all of this.
Yeah.
I raced the retired horse that won. That was me. Okay.
And also, it's everything around that. I built my own personal brand. I attended all these events. That was investment to build the networks, to create.
That's the right word, investment.
Yeah, and to create the brand and the personality and the following and the interest. And like, a lot of people ask me all the time in racing, how do we attract new audiences? So I'm doing basically like a consulting role to try and help improve diversity in racing and get my community involved in the sport. Then I had to sit back recently. I was like, why should I bring my community to a sport that wants to do all of this but not really follow through on any promises, or or are very reluctant to actually fulfill or even just compensate me for my time? Like, I am probably one of the biggest figures of diversity in racing,
Definitely.
and I haven't got much to show for it in terms of finances. And you know, if that's me, and this, you know, I'm attracting on a grassroots level new faces, and you know, I've got an academy where I'm getting young ethnic minority faces in the sport. What's it going to be like for them? And they don't have a following, or you know, social media, or
Very true.
a profile. Like, to me, that's worrying. So then I had to sort of sit back and rethink what my trajectory, what the trajectory looks like for me. But also, I'm going through a revival process myself, so I need to take time with it and not just run. But I've definitely thought about like leaving the sport at certain stages.
No, you can't leave yet. You ain't tasted it yet.
Not yet.
You haven't had shah there properly. You know, I'm just saying. But no, I feel like all of us, do you know, when we're struggling to do something, or when we feel like we're not being appreciated, and we feel like, all right, do you know what, Khalas, my time is done now. Like, I've done what. That's the time you don't give up. That's the time, you know, that it's coming. It's coming.
My parents are always, though, like, as soon as there's a minor inconvenience, they're like, just leave.
Babes, my mum is the exact same.
It's just with racing. Anything else, they're like, persevere, work harder.
My mum with anything. Oh yeah, I'm stressed. Leave it. Why stress?
Yeah, my mum is like, you know what, this sport, it's not easy already. Just riding the racehorses by itself is not easy. For people to be underappreciative of you and your time, leave. Like, I have to move away from home. I'm not even with my family. That's already like stressful enough. I want to be around my people. I'm out in the sticks and the stones, in the countryside. I don't have no friends.
Just bush. A horse. It's in a bush.
It's just bush. Like,
skin.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like you've been in there long enough for you now you're paving the way. Do you know? And you have done. And nothing worthwhile is easy. And you know that. And you're in it. Do you know? Now, as you said, there's going to be sisters coming up under you. You're starting a project, aren't you? Tell us a bit about that.
So 3 years ago, we actually started an academy to get sort of people from city areas to try racing. And then there's a scholarship program that we created where once every month they come in for a weekend. It's all like for free. And we get kids on a program to train, you know, do fitness sessions, ride racehorses. We build them up throughout the year, and they also go to like vets. They go to different parts of the industry, farriers, studs, you know, where the babies and the stud farms are and the foals. Give them a real exposure to horse racing and find their niche. Maybe they want to be a vet. Maybe they want to work in the racing post. I don't know. So so we've created like an academy, but also the academy is doing really well, and we've got graduates, you know, three years of graduates that are now working in the year. I've got students that I see at race days that are already working in different racing teams.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a girl, I'm pretty certain she's going to be like one of the best jockeys. Yeah. There's so much talent coming through the ranks. So that's, alhamdulillah, doing really well.
How can someone join? How could we get involved?
So applications are probably for the residential program. They're always open. The taster sessions are always open.
And for what area is this?
Across the UK, babe.
Oh.
Yeah. So the programs are in the racing school in Newmarket, but accommodation, food, and everything's provided. And yeah, the applications are always on the Riding a Dream Academy website. So
fantastic. And that's Riding
a Dream Academy.
Oh, I like that. Riding a Dream Academy. Fantastic. And we're going to be signing up from there.
For sure. So there's actually a very small age bracket though. It's 14 to 16.
We'll get there. We're going to be 11. My daughter's going to be 11 in June. We'll be there soon.
So yeah, make sure to, if you know anyone, make sure they apply, because it's a huge opportunity. I wish I had it when I was younger. And it's a community, like all the kids that have graduated contact and support, and they come in to do talks for the kids on the program at the minute. And then as soon as you leave, the racing industry is very small in terms of tight knit. You see people, you hear people, you always know what's going on at different stables. And yeah, we've got like some in Newmarket, some kids working in Newmarket, some kids working. I say kids, they're all grown now.
Yeah.
But, and they're doing really well. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very
Oh,
excited
that
for
is
them.
awesome. Like, that's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, we need that give back. So what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? I think on a athletic level, as an athlete, overcoming, as I said, those injuries and those challenges, falling off horses, and getting my confidence knocked, but still persevering, going from different teams. I feel like I'm a very extroverted, outgoing person, but the team dynamics in racing, they're so difficult to navigate because the humor, the banter, the vibes are so different. And these are people that like, go pub on the weekends. That's the kind of energy. Do you know what I mean? That's just not me. And to try and I like growing up, because I was like eldest daughter. I went to a private school. I was very like I was a bit of a people pleaser. I wanted to be likable. So going to these racing yards where I look different, I sound different, and I just don't even have a lot of I don't have a lot in common with these people apart from the horses. So trying to connect to people in the racing world is really difficult. So just going to all these different teams, trying to make friends and build my riding ability as well as fit into the team has been very difficult. So I think just learning to ride whilst being I was out of my comfort zone on all fronts, the horses, the people, and making progress and making mistakes and feeling that pressure. Like you make a mistake, everyone's like, "Ooh, Kahdijah fell off. Ooh, Kahdijah's struggling." It's like you can't hide.
Yeah,
I can't hide.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's only one hijabi. There's only one black. Like in my yard,
It's a big, yeah.
I don't. There's no other black riders. No, and yeah, because it's just
So
the
not just a
countryside.
Muslim sister, you're the only black representation as well.
Yeah, the only other black person is the farrier. Big up him, because that's the first time I've ever seen a black farrier. But yeah, it's difficult to make mistakes because I felt there's always a spotlight on me. And obviously when you're training, you don't need this like mental stress clouding your progress, but it's there to then build and get better regardless. I think is probably what I'm most proud of. But also, of course, I'm just proud to represent my religious background, my faith, and also see all the girls messaging me and commenting. Like,
We're so proud to have you.
yeah, like that always is such a huge boost to my confidence. And
All right,
I'm
what are
very
we
proud of it.
excited about? What's coming up?
Very, very excited about racing again for the first time in 5 years, of course. I'm very excited to hopefully win again, inshallah.
Inshallah. And that's the race is in May.
In May, yeah.
And you're currently practicing and in training for it
Yup.
daily.
Daily, girl. We ride 4 to 5 horses a morning in the gym. Yeah. But also I'm very excited because alongside my training, I came up with this idea when I was injured. So 2 years ago, I got hit by a car.
Oh, snap. Not just horses we're dealing with.
Yeah. I rode 4 horses and then I jumped on my motorbike because I used to drive a motorbike.
Babes, I'm not even your parent and you're trying to give me a heart attack. What do you mean you're on motorbikes? Do you mean a ped?
Motorbike.
A buyer, why?
Yeah, so I was driving back from riding to Peckham from Epsom and a lady didn't see me and she wiped me out. Yeah, and I couldn't walk for a few weeks. And whilst I was recovering, it was very frustrating because obviously I like being...
Kahdijah, I can't. Listen, I'm with your parents. You need to come home now. Has she knocked you off your bike?
Yeah. I told you I have an engineering degree. I like motorsports. I like bikes.
Okay. I thought you meant like fast cars. Like I thought we
like
wanted a Lambo. You want a bike?
Motorbikes.
I love that though. I do love that. Do you know what it is? I'm in shock, but really I'm in awe because all of the stuff that I wanted to do, you're doing. So even like wanting to ride a motorbike, I wanted to be a mechanic. Yeah.
Stop it.
Babes, they ruined my dreams. They ruined it.
Imagine.
I really wanted to become a mechanic. Yeah, I really did. And I was like, I wanted to open my own mechanic.
Stop.
So here you are, riding horses and motorbikes.
Yeah, and falling off both.
So then while you were unable to walk? What
Yeah,
happened?
so that's when the October 7th fiasco happened.
Okay.
And I was just, at home, not able to go out or walk or train or anything. And all I was doing was just seeing all this content online. And obviously, I've been advocating for Palestine since Quay, like way back when. So this has been going on, obviously, for a lot longer. So to see everything online transpiring and, the aggression, and it's still ongoing. To me, I was like, there's only so much money I can donate. There's only so much I can post online. At the end of the day, like, the impact I want to do is more. So then I wrote up a proposal for like a charity pitch to create a fundraiser where I'd like ride for 4 days, 125 miles, which is 5 times the length of the Gaza Strip on a horse. Yeah. And I was gonna do it independently. I was like, let's just bug it out and do it alone. I was gonna plan a route, camp out, and raise money for Gaza. And then I was like,
This is just more stress you're bringing me. Just more stress. So what did you say? So you were gonna ride by yourself. You're gonna ride a horse for 4 days. Where? So you were figuring out your own route.
Yeah.
And then what? We're doing it overnight. We're camping.
Yes.
In the wilderness.
And then I was like, I have no camping background or expertise. I've done like a few treks with my family growing up because we were a very outdoors family. Yeah. On the school holidays, we'd go to any national park and just go hiking up mountains. Yeah. And then I saw this like online creator called Amina. She went on these solo.
We love Amina.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw her content and I thought to myself, she brings the camping and trekking expertise that I lack. And then if I help facilitate her horse riding training, we could like do a swap.
So you guys are collaborating?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
And she'll be doing it on a horse?
On a horse. Yep.
Mind blown.
She's already had 4 riding lessons. She's actually doing
to prepare for this.
Yeah. She's got 5 left, and then we're going to do like a assessment of progress.
No way. So hold up, both of you are going to be on horseback for 4 days and camping. I love it.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm so jealous. So jealous.
Yeah, inshallah it will go well. I mean, we're going to do a test trek just I think after May, June. Yeah, June we're going to do our first test trek, which is going to be 2 days. See how it goes, take notes, improvements, and then do the final trek July. July is when we're still figuring out dates.
And how can we support?
So we're collaborating with Blackstone Trust, which is like this charity this charity that is helping to promote and facilitate any of the support vehicles and like helping us plan everything. We're gonna be doing, this is very in the works, under wraps.
I love it.
But
tell us.
I'm currently working on a riding event where we'd invite and sell tickets to have like a very beginners level riding lesson. And yeah, that's something that we're organising.
And that's for whom? Do we have a specific age group?
Any sisters.
No way.
Any sisters that want to get involved.
I'll be number 1. Send me the
I've been
link.
saying this.
Yeah.
Every time I go to events, I have so many sisters that are like, oh, I used to ride when I was younger, or I've always wanted to sit on a horse, but never had the opportunity to, never had the access.
I know.
And I'm
Bring
like,
back our childhoods.
Yeah,
please.
I have the networks. Let's make it happen.
No,
So,
listen, I am so down for that. I want the link. We will be more than sharing. We'll be there. Ebian, you're involved. Ready to ride some horses.
Are you ready to get on? Yeah.
So no, looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's the goal. Inshallah.
Inshallah. There's so much you're cooking up. So
busy.
much, mashallah. And we're looking forward to watching all of that. We're looking forward to be there with you by supporting you. Where can we catch you? Where can we follow you? Where can we stay updated with our jockey Kahdijah Mellah?
So my Instagram handle is Kahdijah_Mellah. And then
I love it. Sorry. I say your name so wrong. Mellah.
That's just me being Algerian, don't worry.
How you going?
And I have a YouTube, which is also Kahdijah Mellah. And then I have a TikTok, which is Kahdijah Mellah.
Okay.
And I have Twitter, but I don't really use it.
You have Twitter, but you don't really use it.
No.
I know you don't because it's called X now.
I have X, but I don't really use it. But yeah, my main platform is Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Fantastic.
And I always post my little updates. Blackstone also has the giving page where the fundraising for the riding expedition is. Of course, Amina as well will be involved and has the giving page on her platform as well.
Babes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited and I'm looking forward to watching that. Like, you both have me stressed, but I'm so looking forward to that. Horse riding and camping.
Yeah, listen, that's literally like out in the wilderness with, the creation.
Yeah.
Allah's creation with the horses, back to the roots. It's what Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Aisha, at the end of the day,
I think that's what we're craving. I know that's what I'm craving. So for me, I'm putting it out there. You guys are doing the tester for us. We're going to raise that money. Lacking, you guys have got to recreate that again for us.
Yeah.
Please.
This is just the start.
Yes, exactly. And we are so excited to be part of the start, Kahdijah. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I feel like we've gotten to dig in and get to know you a bit more. I hope you enjoyed it.
It's been I've loved talking to you guys. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast.
No, you're so easy to talk to. MashaAllah. You just like, ask me a question. That's it. I'm open.
The biggest yapper. I love
No,
this.
thank you so much for coming out. You guys, thank you so much for being with us today. You can catch us on our YouTube and our, where are we on Spotify and Apple Music, and on all of our TikTok and Instagram pages as well. All Muslim Women Awards. Thank you so much for joining us, and take care.